Evening all, welcome back to Rebirth. I bet you thought we'd forgotten about this. Not at all. It's got really good as well. So please watch the entirety of this video. I was amazed how good it got. There's been a patch, obviously, that's happened over December as well that's made this game really cool, but let's talk about that in a minute. What we are doing right now is we are about to do a marine boarding action on a capital ship. This blew my mind. This was just incredible. So what I've done is I've docked with the Heart of Albion. That's like I guess a breakaway group, and as that flickered and slowed down, then we just jumped to another system, and we now have a group of capital ships surrounding our prey. So my job is to get back into the Albion Skunk, this ship thing, and deploy the Marines. So we're actually going to fire boarding pods into the side of the ship. Before we do that, we have to actually disable that ship. So that's the scene. This is the context. Now, this game's had a lot of battering and beating lately, and I think a little bit unfairly, because it is actually a phenomenally good game. It's just so, I mean, the X games have always been difficult. This is like 10 times more difficult than the most difficult X game, and I'm somebody who loves complexity, but my god, this thing completely blows my mind. And it's just having to learn it, but once you learn it, actually it becomes quite, you know, second nature, let's say. So this is the ship that we're trying to take over. Now, obviously I've got this completely wrong, because I actually dock with it, so there's a bit of a bug there. Ignore that, just ignore it, because they probably shouldn't have let me dock with it. I thought if I could just pick up a gun now, I could do the boarding myself, but obviously not. Let's play the game. So what we're doing here is we're actually now going to start to begin a boarding action. Now, this is phenomenally exciting for me, because one of the best things about X games was if you see a capital ship, a freighter driving by, you can go and capture it. You can literally, send boarding pods into the side of that ship and steal it. And I love games that let you do that. So here we go, trying to figure it out, and there we go, we click board. So now what happens is a kind of mini game, a kind of little bit of a mini game begins, but it's really good. Just stick with it, it's so good. And the graphics on this, I just think are another league. This made my jaw drop when I saw what happens, because first thing we have to do is to take the star drive off, the jump drive. Now, jump drives in this game are a little bit different to normal, because they're basically not necessarily, I guess they are kind of point-to-point jump drives, but these are things more like kind of supercharged, like Star Wars jump engines. But as you can see, we're trying to disable this thing. Now, that is a pretty major, important, bit of technology. So I just thought it's best I back off. But look at that. Already it's smoking. It's already taken damage. Whoa, that is just like amazing. I have never seen a game that does damage like that. Look at the flare and the blast, and oh my god, it's just love it. So the next thing we have to do, now the jump drive is down, he's not going anywhere, kind of jump drive conventional. So what we need to do is make sure we take out his engines. In fact, I've just realized there's 3 types of jump drive. There's jump drive that makes you do point to point. That's what I've just disabled. This is his conventional just normal thrust drive, impulse power, if you like. And the other one is a very high speed, longer range, kind of Star Wars style thing. But anyway, I digress. So what we're doing is we're kind of just taking out now his conventional drives. But look at that. Look at the damage effect on that jump drive. Isn't that amazing? I love it. I can't get enough of games when they just make ships like this really good. It's always something I think Eve would have been, well served to have, is this kind of damaged, rather submodules, subsystems, if you like, of the ship that you could actually take out. I always wish that Eve did that. And it always bothered me that everything was just the hull or nothing. And it was a bit of a shame, because it would be lovely to disable things as you see me doing here. And there we go. That engine is looking a bit like it's in trouble. Boom! Look at that. Fantastic. And again, just another bit of a kind of thing. If you're a fan of space games, and I'd imagine you are if you're watching my channel, but one of the things I always hated about certain games as well, that Homeworld did really well, which is when something exploded, it just disappeared, gone, that was it. And Homeworld, I think, was the very first space game that actually left a sizable wreck. because that would happen. To be a spaceship, you'd have to be, literally a couple of, billion tons of metal all welded and pop riveted together. So when you explode the reactor on it, that metal's not going anywhere. But anyway, so there we go, second drive down, and this ship is ripe for plucking, and I had to say that very carefully. So all of its kind of conventional engines are down. Look at the smoke, isn't that amazing? Oh, it's like something out of a film. It's just, epic. And there go the boarding pods, and isn't that amazing? Literally, these things are kind of piloted but fired torpedoes that are now basically latching onto the ship and burning their way through. And their objective is the bridge to take over control of the ship. Now, this is a pretty sizable ship, so it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. So what we do is we now have the final part of our mini game, which is to disable further systems that actually will kind of assist in the capture of this ship. So on the other side, I just have to go all the way around. There we go. And look at the star drive; it's still just belching fire. Oh, I love it! Love it. This ship looks pretty cool as well. I've got to admit, the models on this are very good. I really, I know I've kind of tried my best with this game for a while, but this was the icing on the cake. This made every bug that I encountered worthwhile. I still love it. I'm going to play this game until literally I cannot stand it anymore, because it is just so good. And here we go. So we're taking down now the shield generators. This is something that builds the shield inside as well as outside, because it's something that we need to take down so that the Marines can capture it quicker. Before, the Marine capturing system was incredibly simple. You basically just wheeled up, you fired your torpedoes, and if you're lucky, you captured the ship. And that was kind of it. And to be honest, now it just feels totally different. I mean, it just feels like a much more kind of rounded system that, if I put the effort in, if I have the right, look at that, isn't that amazing? If I have the right people on board, capturing is a lot simpler now. So I'm really looking forward to getting this part of the mission done, and then going back and finding some freighters and stealing them, because quite frankly, I need freighters to build my trade empire. So I'm really looking forward to this. So, here we go. Underneath, we just have a few more shield kind of generators, and what we're going to do is just keep popping them as they come up. I'm using my heavier gun now, as you can see. So once we take the shield down, this thing pretty much is dead. And again, they're pretty tough. I've got to admit, that's a pretty tough one right there. But boom, so that thing's now disabled, and then we just circle around, and again, they'll keep coming to us. But as you can see, we're now also getting fire from the Plutarch Mining Corporation. This is, they're not really a mining corporation. They're basically a bunch of bastards who have become a militia effectively. So but look at the damage on that thing. Isn't that amazing? Again, I have never seen damage this good in any game. And I mean any game out there. They've never done starship, capital ship, locational damage, and subsystems as good as this game. So I think if you do own it, give it another go again. If you're not playing it and you've not even done any of this, my God, you're missing out. So, give the mission a go. There's many ways to kind of, if you're a lazy bastard and you don't really want to even play the game, there are ways to cheat, unfortunately. You can just give yourself a load of money and then you can go and buy whatever you need. But I would say do that as a last resort. I think, to be honest, the reward that I felt for doing this, literally, fighting this massive capital ship and capturing it, and there we go, we've captured it. That ship now belongs to me. I felt so cool when I took it, you can't believe it. Now, what they have to do is they put this ship in tow, and then the whole fleet, and that was the fleet, by the way, so we've actually got a massive capital fleet fighting one another, and we're now all going to jump out, so they're now kind of moving into kind of a safe jump formation, and what I have to do is just defend the fleet until we actually do jump. But I'm over the moon that I now have another capital ship, because remember when in the mission, in the campaign, I lost my capital ship because it was impounded, the bastards. So I'm really, really excited about what now will happen from this forward. If I can get my freighters back, if I can capture more freighters, I can start to build a business empire. I can then start to earn huge amounts of money. I can then start to build my own stations. The whole game just opened up from this one mission, and it just felt so cool. So I can't stress how amazingly awesome everything came together for this game. It effectively did. So I'm just loving it. So here we go. We're almost ready to jump. And what I'm going to do now is that's the construction. Well, I guess it's a kind of a construction barge. There we go. So I've got to dock now at a Heart of Albion ship. and I've got a minute to do that, so I just pick any old one. And to be honest, the capital fight was very subdued. In fact, there wasn't really much of a fight anyway, so I think that's kind of a shame. It would have been nice to see a bit more of a fight. But again, it was maybe just because we jumped at the right time or we surprised them. And I think, to be honest, the capital versus capital warfare in X has always been a very unusual thing. But there we go. So we now, again, everything slows and judders down, and we jump, and look at that. We're back in a safe-ish system. And we could start to review the spoils. Now, I captured a great big freighter-y kind of freighter thing, so I'm really pleased with that. Now, I think I lost my Marines, so I'm going to have to go around and earn the money to earn more Marines, which kind of sucks, but I don't mind doing that. If I have a freighter that can start doing trade missions, I'd be over the flipping moon, because I lost mine, and I think that's been a big loss to me. Another thing that maybe is a slight issue is the fact that it's very difficult to buy ships. In all of the other X games, it's been the easiest thing in the world to find shipyards. I haven't actually found a shipyard in this game yet, which kind of sucks. So I'm really not looking forward to well, I look forward to capturing ships, but it'd be nice to just go and buy a few as well. So there we go. So in conclusion, X is really shaping up. That patch they did in December has fixed pretty much every bug. I played for a couple of hours, no issues whatsoever. And to be honest with you, I just captured myself a freighter. So that's a pretty good day. That's a pretty good result for me. So I'm happy with that. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I think, this is a game that I've been very keen and passionate about, and I think the last few videos have been a bit draining for me of this because the game wasn't quite right. The patch has come, the game has opened up. I would say this is a fantastically awesome time to rekindle your love of Rebirth. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.